Silent Hill F is not Silent Hill. It's just a random Japanese hack and slash horror game that got slapped with the Silent Hill IP. Everybody knows this. Everybody understands this. It's not Silent Hill. It is. Some say it was originally going to be a Fatal Frame game, but then they decided to make it into a Silent Hill game. So I'm not sure exactly. And the lore of this game, it's all about feminism. It's all about feminism. It's all about how women are treated in 1960s Japan and how are they quote unquote oppressed. Even though back in those days you kind of had to do that kind of stuff to keep families in bay and also to make sure that you have enough money to take care of each other. Um, yeah, so there was some bad stuff if it comes to arranged marriages where you may not be good to pair up certain groups of people, and it touched on how sometimes domestic abuse happened. But the fact is, this was how it was back in the day. They did it for a reason because they want to make sure that the society they make, or the town, or the group, the community they make, won't crumble. Because they just did it like, I don't know, like we see with animals, where they just pick the quote unquote superior mates. The problem is, then every male will be trying to go after each other. And with emperors in Asia, they would have harems, which with all the women would try to kill each other's kids, and kill each other, and it would cause major scuffles within the empire. There's a reason why, like, China has, people like to say China has been around for 3,000 years. No, not really. It had multiple empires just fail many times. They probably have like the most empires fail out of any other nation on Earth. Because of the way the harem system works. Harems are not good. That's like the opposite of like arranged marriage. Arranged marriage was meant to kind of give an opportunity for both men and women to find a partner and to mutually benefit the extended family and the parents. It was to help society. And that's what people don't understand with arranged marriages. Now, there is some bad stuff with arranged marriages where you could say it could be dysgenic because, in a way, in Asia especially, the forced arranged marriage kind of made it where you don't see them have like good features like us Europeans, because we kind of did like a mixed model where Europe decided, well, we do have sort of like a arranged marriage, but it's more of a, you have a pool of people you can pick from. You just don't pick from certain classes or certain communities, to where you kind of can pick someone to an extent, and the other way around. And that's how you see so many features within Europeans are, they have like different varieties of features. Where, like Asia, it's not really the case. They have similar phenotypes compared to most groups. And also because of, like in Asia especially, a lot of people are descended from Genghis Khan, who had so many harems that he pretty much affected the entire Asian gene pool. Like most Asians have some form of Genghis Khan in their ancestry. Which totally doesn't cause any issues, by the way. That doesn't. I'm being like joking. It actually probably does, because it causes lack of individuality. I mean, that's why you see like Asia as more of a collectivist, shame culture, where Europe, it's more of a individualist guilt culture, where you have to feel the empathy and the shame for yourself, and you have to learn it from yourself instead of like learning it from others. Next, why am I talking about this and not the game? Well, the game is pretty much a half-baked Dark Souls clone. The horror aspect of it is very, how I put it, it's not good. That's the problem. With Silent Hill, it had a very unique vibe that I think most horror games just couldn't do better than the people who made Silent Hill. It understands psychological horror to the T. And the people who made these people, made this game, were people who couldn't understand actual horror. They don't understand horror. You have to understand what makes people scared. And at the point of psychological horror, instead of being a creature, it's your own mind. And you can say, well, we're trying to make a character that's personifying their fears. The problem is, this is not really Silent Hill, because, I'm going to spoil it, it's all based I think her name's Nanako's head. All in her head. And the endings represent what she'll do, or she's been on drugs. Overall, it's basically doing what Silent Hill is supposed to do, but not in the right way. What do I mean by this? Well, with Silent Hill, like the older Silent Hills, it did it very nuanced, and it understand what unnerves people. Like if you look at the enemy characters, especially if it comes to like the older Silent Hills, especially the remake doesn't have it as much, but it kind of represented that, where the enemies almost had like a jerky feel, almost like they skipped frames, almost like they didn't have a concept of time, so they went by. No, I mean weird noise, but it was very twitchy, but in a way that's just not venerable. just didn't make sense in reality. You know, and what people don't know, a lot of Silent Hill is based off of Abrahamic faith. If it comes to the first three and maybe four, but four put some Japanese elements in it, of course. But the first three was really using Abrahamic concepts. And I think the reason why they thought of the way the enemies moved was because of the way enemies, not enemies, but how angels are. Because, well, not angels, but in the way that they say that God and angels don't comprehend time like we do. So they don't exist in, you could say, a theory that could not exist in time. Maybe they took that concept of it and made like these creatures that are not from this world to where they can be twitchy. You know, they can be all sorts of strange and fuckery. And it gave it a unnerving feeling. And the music fits so well with it as well because of the nature of the creatures. And Silent Hill F, trying to do that, energy drink will help you. With Silent Hill F, it was more of almost Dark Souls kind of enemies. You have counterattacks, power attacks, all the stuff you see with Dark Souls is like, or Elden Ring. It's like, what the fuck is this? Is this Silent Hill? Is it survival horror? Is it like, no, it's just boss rushes. You have like later in game, in Spirit World, you take off your own arm and you replace it with a Fox Demon's arm, and you have like a infinite, you know, you undamaged, like you won't be damaged, and you can just go berserk mode on them. It's like, what the fuck is this? Is this Silent Hill, or am I playing fucking MGS Raiden or something, or I don't know, some action game, God of War, Devil May Cry. I never played Devil May Cry, by the way. But it's like, what the fuck is this? Is this a horror game or is this an action game? Is it an action horror game? Well, it's not doing well at it. And the gameplay comes to, like, the engine it's using, Unreal Engine 5, it has a bunch of issues where people are saying they're having pop up like weird kind of, the screen will keep going in the top right or something because they didn't optimize it correctly, because people don't know how to optimize Unreal Engine 5 yet because they're too stupid about it. And even with the name Silent Hill F, I haven't even checked it up if that's true. It's like Silent Hill F stands for feminism, or is it just a joke? I don't know at this point. It's legitimately just about, a woman, was a girl, but it's like a 20-something-year-old reliving the past of, the history of her past, and, kind of representing her mind just being all fucked up. So you wonder, what the fuck is this? Am I playing a game, or am I just playing some HR lady's power fantasy? See, this is what I was worried about with when the Silent Hill 2 remake came out, is that Silent Hill 2 remake, of course it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, how put it, good? In a way that, how put it, they changed certain aspects that me and others didn't like a lot, like, especially with Angela. Angela was like the most tragic character you can think of on any of the Silent Hills. Being molested by her father and brother, actually depicted like what people who deal with sexual molestation and rape actually deal with, especially when you're a child. Like, you can tell, and people like say, well, the original art concept of the original Silent Hill, she looked more childlike. The problem is, the other one looked better. The new concept of the Silent Hill 2, the original, looked better than the art concept, because it kind of represent, maybe she's aging early, and that's something that feminists should worry about, or even just people should worry about. Not just feminism, but people. You have a child rape victim going through her worst experiences in a place that uses your own fears against you. And you have this game, which it's not even set in Silent Hill. It's literally set in some mentally unstable girl's head, or woman now, because at the end it's told that she's just reliving her past and she's in her 20s. And it's just a power fantasy with the Silent Hill F. Like, why couldn't they just make a Silent Hill 2 with Angela? Have we can play as her, and maybe she didn't die in the fire. She went across the fire when she went across the stairs, but then she learned to cope with her demons and her rage or whatever. And of course, in my opinion, it should never touch that, because, well, that's a bad idea. Even with the acting with the remake of Silent Hill 2, it was not good. Not good. It wasn't bad. Like, at the start, it was kind of, but with the original, it was just good because, they all have that eerie kind of, like actual people who go through mental illness or trauma and all that. They feel like they're in the fog, they're in the haze. They can't let go of, the trauma. And with this game, It's too on the nose. That's the problem. It's too on the nose. It's not subtle enough, of course, because they don't want to be subtle because, they're worried about people not understanding. No, people would understand. You just don't know how to make a game. And you don't know how to even make, like, a story. A story that could be even good. The puzzles were also using too many Japanese mythologies that Westerners would never understand. So many people who played the game had to basically do trial and error to complete the puzzles. I think the only one that people actually consistently like was the Scarecrow puzzle. But that's because it's a simple loop puzzle. You just find the patterns and you find it. That's it. I need caffeine in my system. So, would I recommend buying the game? Fuck no. It's a walking simulator, and if you want to play gameplay like that, just buy Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Demon Souls Remake, any of the Dark Souls games, any of the Elden Ring games. It doesn't matter. Just buy that. Buy Sekiro. I don't know. It's like the replayability is just not there. And for the price range, you can say it's not no $80 game. Well, it's $70. It's a double A game trying to represent a triple A game. I don't know what you call it. It's just a scam. Again, the Silent Hill franchise is being fucked over yet again, like it's always been. People like say Silent Hill 4 was the hammer that destroyed Silent Hill, which I don't agree with. I think they took Silent Hill in something where I'm fine with, like with the Silent Hill's curse can be spread by people, by objects. I'm fine with that if they do it right, because they have Walter Sullivan, and he fucking goes well with that. And he referenced it in Silent Hill 2. But do these people care? No. Do these people care about the lore, the concept, even the mythology of Silent Hill? Do they care about where the mythology usually comes from, like with Abrahamic, with Jewish, or with Christian, or even Islamic? No. Like they probably understand more of the Japanese mythology because they're a bunch of fucking weebs. And HR representatives, and I think the person who directed this was a known like a political activist / therapist. It's like you only talk to fucking women, but you don't actually talk to like maybe PTSD war victims or actual like childhood sex victims. People who got raped as a child or molested or whatever. Especially boys, who can't talk about that kind of shit because they're shamed in their society in all cultures, and they're always demonized because they think, oh well, if you had that happen to you, then you must be wondering what's. Yes, that can happen. It can spread, but you can't just do that. You say, why are you talking about that again? Because Silent Hill 2 did something amazing when it comes to like trauma. Like we could talk about like James and all that, but the other characters was just as important as well. You had Jimmy, who killed his dog, not his dog, but the bully's dog, and then you have him shooting the guy in the leg, and he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to accept responsibility for what he did, realizing that he's going crazy and being just taking out his rage because he's like fat and he has an eating disorder. And it really works. Same thing with Angela. Even same with James. It works. And even with what's her name? The kid. I know I'm bad with names, but the kid, she's too innocent, too young to be bothered by the fog and the what's going on in that town when it comes to the supernatural. It's not affecting her because part of Heather's other concepts is basically, well, not Heather. I'm bad. I should know this. You know what I'm talking about. But she sees her as a child. With this, it's just some girl who doesn't want to accept responsibility, and they're trying to portray that's what she's in the right, knowing that if you go by that time standard, you had to get married, you had to do that stuff because your family would be fucked, your generation would be fucked. If you just picked a random man, you could do that, but would you risk it? An enemy or a rival with another group, it may be dangerous. It may end up terribly. But I don't know. With Silent Hill F it's just bad, and it's pretty much killed the franchise yet again. It sold well because of name, but people are starting to get kind of peeved off with this. But people are so desperate for Silent Hill because it was such a great franchise. I mean, no franchise got this good outside Silent Hill. Like, people talk about Resident Evil. Resident Evil gets to goofy levels of parody of action movies, where Silent Hill is meant to be. It takes concepts of what people fear the most and puts it in a town. Instead of using, the darkness, it uses fog. a very ingenious way from an era when they had to make up a concept of how to deal with the low rendering of the PS1 hardware. And he did something ingenious. But with this game, it has the fog, but it's not Silent Hill. It's just wearing the skin of it. That could have been just a Fatal Frame remake or sequel, but that's all it is. It's nothing special. It's nothing to be remembered. People are going to forget about this in the next week or two. People are going to remember, oh, that game, that is not Silent Hill.